Have you ever wondered why some people just seem to click with everyone they meet, while others kind of struggle to make it a real connection? Well, it turns out that being likable isn't some magical personality trait you're born with. It's actually a skill you can learn. And these techniques are so powerful, they're literally used by FBI agents to recruit foreign spies. So let's break down exactly how they do it. All right, here's our mission briefing for today. First, we're going to crack the FBI's likability code. Then, we'll get into the simple four-step formula for friendship and learn how to decode the body language that sends all the right signals. After that, we'll cover the one golden rule you absolutely can't forget, dig into some advanced attraction techniques, and wrap up with how to actually maintain the friendships you build. You know, we're always told the key to making friends is to just be yourself. And look, that's not bad advice, but it's not the whole story. Making genuine connections isn't magic, it's a science. And these techniques we're talking about, they've been field tested in some of the most high-stakes situations you can imagine. This isn't about being fake, it's about being your best self strategically. So where do we even start? Well, we start with a simple but incredibly powerful formula that the FBI uses as its foundation. This is the bedrock for creating a bond with pretty much anyone, whether it's a new acquaintance at a coffee shop or, a high-value intelligence target. Let's get into it. Okay, the friendship formula has 4 key ingredients. First up is proximity. You just have to be in the same space as the person. Simple enough. Second, frequency. They need to see you around, over and over again. Third, duration. The amount of time you spend near them needs to slowly increase. And finally, intensity. This is where you start adding those positive, nonverbal signals. Really, it all just boils down to one core idea. Repeated, positive exposure builds familiarity. And you know what? Familiarity builds trust. Let's see how this all plays out in a real-world FBI case. So the mission was this. An agent, who we'll just call Charlie, had a target. He needed to recruit a foreign diplomat, codenamed Seagull, to become a spy for the US. Now for months, Charlie was incredibly patient. He just worked the formula. For proximity and frequency, he started driving the same route as Seagull to the grocery store, day after day, until his car just became a normal part of the background. Then, for duration, he started actually going into the store at the same time. And finally, for intensity, he added a simple nod, a little bit of brief eye contact. So by the time Charlie finally walked up and introduced himself, he wasn't some random stranger. He was a familiar face. And guess what? Seagull was ready to talk. The recruitment was a total success. Long before you even say hello, your body is already having a full-on conversation. So you've got to make sure it's sending the right message. Let's break down 3 universal friend signals that you can start using, like, today. And that brings us to, well, a pretty strange question. What on earth could you possibly have in common with a firefly? It sounds a little out there, I know, but the answer is the key to your very first nonverbal signal. So a firefly flashes its tail, right? It's sending a signal out to other fireflies that says, hey, I'm one of you, I'm friendly. Well, believe it or not, we humans do the exact same thing. We just use our eyebrows. It's this quick upward flash that sends a message across a room saying, I see you, I acknowledge you, and I'm not a threat. It's so fast, it only lasts about 1/6 of a second, but it's a universally recognized signal of friendly recognition. It's really the perfect low-risk way to open the door for a conversation without saying a single word. Okay, next up is the head tilt. Now, this one is fascinating because it's so primal. When you tilt your head to the side, you're subconsciously exposing your carotid artery, a super vulnerable spot on your neck. It sends this powerful, ancient signal that says, I feel comfortable and safe with you, and that, in turn, makes them feel more comfortable and safe with you. And our third signal is the genuine smile. This one is like a little biohack. When you smile for real, your brain releases all these feel-good chemicals like endorphins. But here's the magic part. When someone sees you smile, their brain often mirrors that action and releases the same chemicals. It's an instant, shared positive vibe that you create just by smiling. Okay, let's move on to the one core principle that makes every single one of these techniques actually work. Seriously, if you only remember one thing from this whole explainer, please make it this. The golden rule of friendship is actually pretty simple. It is, focus on making other people feel good about themselves. That's it. We are biologically wired to like people who validate us, who actually listen to us, and who make us feel important and understood. It is the ultimate secret to being liked. The author of these techniques actually put this to the test one time. He was stuck with the dreaded middle seat on an 8-hour flight. So he walks up to the ticket agent, but instead of complaining, he leads with empathy. He just says, "Wow, it looks like you've had a really rough day." He made the entire conversation about her and her stressful job. He just listened. And the result? When it was time to board, she called him over and handed him a brand new ticket, a free, totally unsolicited upgrade to business class. Why? Because he made her feel good, and she wanted to return that feeling. Okay, so you've made contact, you're using the golden rule. Now it's time to level up. Let's look at 3 advanced psychological laws you can use to really strengthen that bond and take it to the next level. First is the law of similarity. Find common ground. It's that simple. We like people who share our interests, our values, even our favorite sports team. Next, the law of curiosity. Be a little different. Wear an interesting pin. Read an unusual book in public. It just gives people an easy excuse to start a conversation with you. And finally, the law of reciprocity. Do small, unexpected favors. Our brains are hardwired to want to repay kindness. And here's a little pro tip for you, a way to supercharge that reciprocity. When someone thanks you for doing them a favor, instead of saying you're welcome, try saying this: "I know you'd do the same for me." This little phrase is brilliant. It does 2 things at once. It gets rid of any idea of a debt, and it reframes what you did as something friends just do for each other. It builds this powerful sense of a mutual alliance. Look, making a connection is just the start. The real work, and honestly, the real reward, is in maintaining that friendship for the long haul. The good news is, the habits for doing this are really simple, but they are absolutely crucial. It all comes down to 4 pillars of friendship maintenance. Show you care with your words and your actions. Be an active listener, and I mean really listen. Put your phone away, make eye contact, don't interrupt. Give them genuine encouragement when they accomplish something. And finally, practice empathy. Genuinely try to understand what they're feeling from their point of view. And this brings us right back to the single most important takeaway of all this. From that first little eyebrow flash all the way to a lifelong friendship, the secret is to stop trying so hard to be interesting and start becoming genuinely interested in other people. Make them the focus. It's that simple. And that really just leaves us with one final thought. Now that you have the playbook, think about it. If you could build a strong, genuine connection with absolutely anyone in your life, who would you choose to start with?